When we think of kings, we picture luxury, grand palaces, golden crowns, and fine perfumes. But not every ruler in history was polished and clean. Some were, well, downright disgusting. And today, we're diving into the story of one man who earned the title of history's most unhygienic king. Meet King James VI of Scotland, better known as James I of England, the very same man who brought us the King James Bible, but also brought with him a reputation for filth, stench, and poisons of plagues, and personal habits so foul they shocked his own courtiers. Stay tuned, because once you hear about James's lifestyle, you might never think of royalty the same way again. James was born in 1566, and by 1603, he ruled over both Scotland and England. On paper, he was one of the most powerful men in Europe. But behind closed doors, James was notorious for his lack of hygiene. In an age when even royalty bathed infrequently, James took uncleanliness to a whole new level. While other nobles at least tried to maintain appearances, James openly bragged about his hatred of bathing. He believed washing the body was dangerous to health, and he made sure to practice what he preached. It's said that James never bathed, ever. Instead, he thought rubbing himself down with a linen cloth was enough. Witnesses described his skin as covered in filth, his fingernails long and dirty, and his clothes often stained. But that wasn't the worst part. James was terrified of water, not only for bathing, but for swimming or even getting wet. Some historians believe this phobia came from childhood trauma, since his mother, Mary Queen of Scots, was executed, and his father died mysteriously. Whatever the reason, the king stayed far away from water. If you visited James's court, you wouldn't smell sweet perfumes or incense. You'd smell the king. His chamber was said to stink of sweat and dirt, and courtiers often kept their distance. Even his mouth hygiene was abysmal. Reports say his teeth were blackened and rotting from neglect, and he often slobbered when he spoke, spitting on people who stood too close. Despite his wealth, James refused to change his habits. He genuinely believed staying dirty kept him healthy. In fact, he thought that washing stripped the body of its natural oils and made people sick. His hygiene wasn't the only thing that made James unusual. He had odd personal quirks, too. He was known to fiddle constantly with his fingers, biting his nails down to the quick. He also had a habit of sticking his tongue out in public, which people found unsettling. James was so afraid of being poisoned that he wouldn't let anyone prepare his meals without strict supervision. Yet, ironically, he did nothing about the filth in his own body or his dirty living environment, which probably posed more of a health risk than poison ever did. You might wonder, why didn't anyone tell the king to clean up? Well, he was still the ruler, and people rarely dared criticize him directly. But behind his back, foreign ambassadors and visitors mocked him endlessly. One Venetian diplomat described James as the filthiest of kings. Others noted that while his mind was sharp, his appearance and hygiene were disgraceful for a monarch. Still, James was not a weak king. He united Scotland and England under one crown, commissioned the famous King James Bible, and influenced politics for decades. But no matter his achievements, his reputation for filth clung to him just as stubbornly as the dirt on his skin. So, was King James truly the most unhygienic king in history? While other rulers were guilty of bad habits, James stands out for his open refusal to bathe, his stinking presence, and his bizarre belief that dirt was healthy. It's a strange reminder that even the most powerful people in history weren't always glamorous. Sometimes they were just plain gross. What do you think? Does James deserve the crown for dirtiest king, or do you know of an even nastier ruler? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more bizarre stories from history. Until next time, stay curious and remember, truth is often stranger than fiction.